Hey guys, it's Danny. Alrighty, today we find ourselves outside and there's a very good reason for this. As the title suggests, we're gonna deal with some very sick orchids, but not only, they're also infested with my mortal enemy, the spider mite. So I don't want to take any chances in the greenhouse. We're gonna do this outside. We're gonna try to save these orchids. So we're just gonna tackle each problem at a time, and I'm gonna show you how I like to go about things. Now, these are two orchids that Ana Maria purchased from me. She found a really nice flower shop in Romania, purchased some orchids for her, and I purchased a few as well, and she was kind enough to receive them and send it back to me. Problem is, they were not all that healthy to begin with. Now, what are these orchids? They're miniature orchids. Well, they're just a little thing the nurseries in Netherlands started to sell, and I'm happy about that. This is the Pupukea that I had 4 years ago, and I lost them. They had a virus. They slowly declined, so sadly I lost them, and it's a shame because I really like this orchid. And this one, to be honest, I have no idea what it is. Now I'll share with you down below the unboxing video that Ana Maria made, so you can see how this orchid's flowers used to look like, also this one, and in what state they were when she initially received them. So because the medium was not in the best condition, she unpotted them and sent them to me bare root. Problem is, the post office messed up and they spent about 4 or 5 days just lingering in a post deposit around here in this country. And that was not funny, but yeah, they arrived pretty dehydrated to me. As you can see, let me show you a close-up. Here we have a super thin pseudobulb with very deep wrinkles. And this one, yet again, you can see clear signs of dehydration. Flowers didn't last, obviously, but that's the least of my worries at this point. So, first step that I did was to put them in water. Now, this might have hydrated them a little bit, but in this case, it takes quite a few days for them to get hydrated, even a month, even several months, depends. But the good thing about soaking orchid roots in water for an hour or half an hour is that they get really saturated and it becomes really easy to tell which roots are dead and which are alive. When we're dealing with desiccated roots, it sometimes is very hard to determine which is dead, which is alive. We need to press on every one of them, and that can be quite laborious. If we soak them a little, we can see, like in this case, a few of them started to green up. Now, these have great chances to be alive. So this is something that makes life a little easier when we're trying to determine which roots we need to cut. And of course, from these ones, I think we're gonna need to cut quite a few roots. So I had my orchids soaking for a day because I didn't have time for them yesterday. And as you can see, nothing much happened. They didn't hydrate all that much. And to top it all off, these orchids are infested with spider mites. The way I concluded is first by looking at the signs. You can see these orchids have some really strange pittings. Also, Ana Maria told me there was a few webs when she received them. Well, pretty much if you ever had spider mites, you kind of know how an infested orchid looks like, but I was absolutely convinced when I checked with my digital microscope. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll link you down below. It's not a microscope, it's actually a macro camera. And with that camera, I can see very tiny little critters. And these orchids indeed have spider mites. Thus, they're not coming in the greenhouse just yet. So after I soaked the roots to see if they get hydrated and what roots I have alive, the next thing to do is to get them rid of spider mites. So I'll show you how I prepare my insecticide actually, which is not really an insecticide. It is a non-toxic solution that I developed last year. So the idea for this treatment comes from the horticultural oils that contain paraffin oil. If I try to order these in my location, it gets very expensive. It's simply not worth it. So I came up with an alternative solution, but in your location, horticultural oils based on paraffin might be easily available and might be cheap. So if you have them and want to try them, just definitely go for them. If you don't, then look for soft oil, body oil, baby oil. All it needs to have is paraffin oil. There you go. This is what you're looking for. So the ratio of dilution of this oil in water is 1 or 2% maximum. And today I'm going to prepare a solution of about 1%. A too concentrated solution can actually suffocate the leaves, and that's not what I want with these orchids. So this is how I'm going to prepare it. So I have here a graded cup, and I'm not sure if you're able to see, I have 200 milliliters of water in this cup. Now excuse me, but I will work with the metric system because I'm not total master of the US system, so I might just tell you lies. But the metric system is actually pretty easy. So you have, let's say 100 milliliters volume of water, you would have to add 1 milliliter of oil. Since I have 200 milliliters, I need to add 2 milliliters of oil. So I'm gonna pour this water in my spray bottle here. Then I'm gonna add the oil in a separate container, and then I'm gonna use a graded syringe and I will measure 2 milliliters of oil. And then I will add the oil to my spray bottle. That was intense, huh? And then I will add just the tiniest drop of liquid dish soap to the mix, just to get a more even mixture with the water. And then to mix it all up, give the bottle a good shake. So with the solution prepared, we can start spraying. I'm only going to spray the orchid, not the root system. Spider mites don't usually sit on the roots unless they fall there, but this orchid was sitting in water. So as you spray, it's a good idea to keep mixing because oil tends to separate from water. And now it's time to spray the orchid completely and try to get in all of the nooks and crannies, the leaves, the flower spikes, the pseudobulbs, everything. Just soak it in this mixture. Same story with this one. Since they came from the same store, probably they share the pests as well. If not, most probably in the transport box, the mites traveled. So yet again, soaking everything. And now I'm just gonna place them on a little tray, let them draft just a little bit, in which time I'm going to prepare my pots and my medium. Alrighty, and we're back. So the next step is to cut away all of the dead roots. So here is where soaking actually helps. Let's take this one for example. Even though the roots are not mushy, rotten, they're still dead. Look at this, they're papery, they sat 24 hours in water and they didn't plump up. And if we pull a little on them, we can see there is a thread left behind. So this little back bulb doesn't have any live roots. On the other hand, the main bulb looks a lot plumper when it comes to roots. If we pull gently, there is no string left behind. So right now, what I'm gonna do is get a sterilized pair of pruners and cut away all of the dead roots that are papery, mushy, they don't have substance, and leave on the orchid only the roots that are alive. Okay, so my orchids are all cleaned up. I'm gonna use inorganic medium, so I'm gonna speed up the process because it's very windy and I think the audio will have to suffer. Alrighty, so my orchids are all potted up. They will not go in the greenhouse. I will have to keep them on the terrace and monitor the spider mites because one application might not be enough. Whenever we're not dealing with something systemic, which means does not poison the orchid for the spider mites, then reapplication might be needed a few days after, depending on the evolution. But the bonus is nothing was toxic. And somebody actually asked me if this treatment still works. And yes, it does. On the orchids that I treated this way, I don't see any more spider mites. I'm happy to say I don't have any spider mite outbreak in my greenhouse. I'm not gonna say any spider mites because, you know, they're just all tiny. But no more outbreaks. I don't see signs of spider mite activity or damage, so I'm happy. That's why I applied this treatment. But of course, orchids treated this way need to be separate for a while, monitored, and maybe in a month's time, if I don't see anything suspicious, they can go in the greenhouse just in time before the summer kicks in. So alrighty, this has been the video. I'm gonna end it here because the wind is starting to really take off. My terrace is really not a good place to film because nobody's quiet. So I will keep you up to date with the evolution of these orchids. This particular one is a very interesting mini orchid. This one I know, but this one I've never seen it before. I don't know what it is. Check out Ana Maria's video. Maybe you have some ideas of what this one might be. In her video she mentions which orchids are mine. So thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe to my channel for regular orchid and other plants videos, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. And with that said, I'll see you all next time. Bye!